Okay, it is 7:30. So let's go ahead and start. Okay. Oh. 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 Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Hari Om to everyone. Hari Om. So we are in the Bhajagovindam and almost at the end of the Bhajagovindam here. So what we saw in the previous classes is in the verse number 25, Acharya said, don't waste your time in breaking and making so many kinds of relationships. You know, our whole samsara is always, making friends with somebody and or breaking up with somebody. It's not only that, even in the family relations also. And so here Acharya says, don't waste your time in that one. Then what you should do then, instead of that, see yourself in all beings and give up your ignorance, which creates the divisions, Bheda Agnana. So from the worldly level, rise up to the spiritual level. Instead of trying to make and break, okay, see the same consciousness even with those people that you are trying to break and make. Okay, so move from the worldly level to the higher level. Then how to do that one? So Acharya Bharati Vamsha, in the previous verse that we were looking, there he said, give up your anger, desire, greed, and delusion. And then inquire and see the self in yourself. So in the previous verse, the 25th, Acharya said, see everyone as consciousness. To see everyone as consciousness, first you should know your own consciousness. Okay, so first see yourself, okay, as your own consciousness, or the truth, or the the other names that you can give, the divinity and all those things. Then you will be able to see the consciousness everywhere. So those who do not get this self knowledge, so Acharya says, they are cooked in the hell. Pachyante. They, those people without the self-knowledge. So idea is here, they, to suffer. They will suffer not only here on this earth and also hereafter. So because without the self-knowledge, what happens? The mind is always agitated. And so that agitation itself is like a hell. So let us go back to where we stopped in our last class. There was a few thoughts that I thought I would share with you before we go to the next verse here. So here but the important thing is tyaktva, by giving up. What is that? By giving up, what is it that is going to happen to you? Atmanam pashyati. That Atma is seen. But how? As Soham. I am that Atma. So that is very important. It's not that, when you worship Lord and you become that Lord. Okay. When you remove the obstacles of kama, krodha, lobha, and moha, that the layers that are covering, then this consciousness is experienced as you are that one. Because you are already that Brahman. There is no becoming, there is no gaining, there is no reaching, nothing at all. You are already that Brahman only. So engage in this self-enquiry and seek the answer to who am I? So Ramana Maharshi puts this essence of self-enquiry in just 3 terms. What is it? Naham Deham. I am not this body. Koham. Then who are you? Soham. I am that. These are the only 3 things that we need to remember. So this journey from Jiva to Paramatma, only you can undertake that one. Nobody can do it for you. And here I would like to read the Gurudev's commentary. In my book, it is on page 97, the second paragraph. All our knowledge in the outer world are objective, and therefore we understand them as something other than ourselves. The spiritual truth being the very core of our own existence, when the realization comes, it will not be that I have understood it, but the experience will be, he am I, soham, that I am, tadasmi. This is something like discovering after a lot of searching the lost key, at last in your own pocket. No doubt the man will cry out, I have got the key, I have got the key. But in fact, there was no getting it. It was only a process of discovering the key that was already there in his pocket, which was lying concealed under his own ignorance of its existence. So too, this perfect state of tranquility is man's real nature. Due to desire, anger, greed, and delusion, this bliss seems to be for him veiled from himself, and when his agitations are quietened, behind it stands the truth in all its resplendency. And here, Gurudev raised this, I don't know whether you want, like a symbolism or whatever it is, the Radha and Krishna. This is so beautiful. Let me read that one. Angry and impatient, restless and agitated. When Radha waits for the Lord under the tree, some rough hand sweetly closes her eyes from behind. She protests, gets angry, gets worried, really afraid. Holding the hand that covers her eyes, she fights, howls, curses, and in the end discovers that the very hands that covered her eyes belong to the very one for whom she was waiting all the time. Once the passions of the heart are removed, truth, self-evident, stands revealed as the very eternal sweetness of perfection. So beautiful, only Gurudev can write things like that. Such an that imagination, that is, seeing God in everything, in every situation, every picture, everywhere. That is the person's attitude, or not attitude, that is the person's glory, that he sees the self everywhere. And so here we can say Gurudev has given the whole Vedanta in just 2 words: detach and attach. Detach from the world of samsara and attach yourself to Bhagavan. And how? Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhaja, Moodamate. So there's one more point I want to bring it up here. See, when you start analyzing your mind's modifications intelligently, then we come to know that actually desires is not a natural condition of our mind. Okay. And desire is actually an abnormality of the mind. Think, if the desire is a natural to our mind, why do we want to get rid of it? Say, I'm wearing a watch. Watch is not natural to me. So I remove the watch in the night. But do I remove my hand? No, I don't, because the hand is natural to me. Then what is this removal of desires then? Fulfillment of desires is removing the desires. Once we understand this one, then we will not waste our time in fulfilling all our desires that comes to us. The desires, all the desires that is entertained by the mind. So what we should do? Remove the desiring in desire. Desires will be there, but don't desire that. So remove the desiring in the desire. And we already saw that if the desires are fulfilled, there is greed. If the desires are not fulfilled, there is anger. An angry person is not a happy person. A greedy person is also not a happy person. Who is a happy person? Desireless person is the happy person. So, kama krodam lobam moham tyaktvatmanam pashyati soham atmagnana vihina moodaha te pachyante naraka nigudaha. So, this what we call this shadripus, ripus, the enemies, the 6 enemies for us in our spiritual progress, and they are also known as Arishad Vargas. And what are those? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. In this verse, the first 4 are taken. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, and Moha. That doesn't mean, Mada and Matsarya are not there. In Vedanta, we call it as Upalakshana. What it means is when there are group of things, a few things are made into a group, even if you mention a few of those things, not all of them, that means all the things of that group is included there also. So here, even though the verse says Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, you should understand Mada and Matsarya are also there. So all the 6 ripus are mentioned here. So here, if we conquer these shadripus, okay, then we are totally free. But if these shadripus conquers us, then we are in total bondage. And here in this book, in the Bhajagovindam book, Gurudev has quoted a verse composed by Adi Shankaracharya in the footnotes there. So you can see that it says, Kama krodascha lobascha dehe tishtanti taskaraha. Gnana ratna apaharya tasmat jagrata jagrata. What does it mean? Kama krodascha lobascha. Kama and krodha and lobha, dehe tishtanti. They stay in the body. As what? Taskaraha, the dacoits, the thieves. So these kama, krodha and lobha, they are not outside. They are inside only. And why are they there? Because apaharya, they want to loot from you. What is it they want to loot? Gnana Ratna. That is the jewel, the Ratna of Gnana, of knowledge. To deprive you of the precious gem of spiritual knowledge. So therefore, Tasmat, therefore, Jagrata, Jagrata. Be aware, be beware be of that. So see, all these things we need to get rid of it, because see, the Mahatmas, they teach us the scriptures. We do understand that. It's not that, we are that dumb that we don't understand. But, even though we understand, it does not stay with us. Why? Because our minds are not pure. It is always agitated. Even when we are sitting in the satsangs, we pay so much attention and we think we got everything. But after that, once the satsang is over, we are looking to see where my chappals are. Is it still there or it is not still there? The mind goes into agitation. And everything that you heard so like attentively, it's all gone. So the mind goes to the world again. So where do we start? We start from seeking Govinda. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam. So the tagline for this verse is traitors within. All these, the taskaras that are within us, that is the one that we need to get rid of. Now, coming back to, let us continue the next verse now. Okay. So, what are the sadhanas to gain the realization? Even though the sadhanas were already given, but out of compassion, here Acharya Sumati says what are the sadhanas to practice in this 27th verse. Every time I see the word sadhana and I say the sadhana, I always remember this joke. Guruji used to say, this is sadhanalaya. This is sadhana plus alaya. Place where for the sadhana. It is not sadhana laya. so every time I hear this sadhana word, I always remember what Guruji says. It is sadhana alaya. Okay, good. Okay, so this is the last verse of Chaturdasha Manjarika Stotra. The 14 verses composed by the 14 disciples of Adi Shankaracharya, who accompanied Adi Shankaracharya in Kashi on that day when Adi Shankaracharya saw this old man memorizing the Sanskritam Vyakaranas, the sutras there. So now let us see the verse number 27 here. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Dhyeyam Shripati Rupamajasram. Dhyeyam Shripati Rupamajasram. Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. Deyam Dina Janaya Chavittam. Deyam Dina Janaya Chavittam. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Deyam Shripati Rupamajasram. Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. Deyam Dina Janaya Chavittam. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhajamudhamate. Samprapte sannihite kale, nahi nahi rakshati dukrung karane. So first pada, it says Geyam Gita Nama Sahasra. So before that, so here 4 sadhanas are given. So sadhanas to divinize our life. Gurudev calls it as spiritual program. And he says these 4 are unavoidable musts in the daily program of a spiritual seeker. So what is the first one? Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Geyam. Geyam means to sing, to chant. Chant what? Gita. Here, there are many, many Gitas in our scriptures. Okay, there is this Hamsa Gita, Rama Gita, Uddhava Gita, Vibhu Gita. It goes on and on. But Bhagavad Gita is the most famous, most popular, well-known, and specially prescribed for the deluded ones like me. So, and then Nama Sahasram, 1,000 names of the Lord. Again, there are many Sahasranamas. Lalita Sahasranama, Shiva Sahasranama, Rama Sahasranama, and all. But here, Vishnu Sahasranama is the most popular and the most famous, and it also has a special kind of power also in that one. So the first sadhana is you sing, you chant, or do the Parayana of Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranama. So the second sadhana that is given here, Dhyayam Shripati Rupama Jasram. Dhyayam means meditate upon. Upon what? Shripati Rupam, on the form of Shripati. Shri is most of the time we considered as Mahalakshmi, and her Pati, her Lord, is Mahavishnu. So meditate upon the form of Lord Vishnu here. Or Guruji says Shri can also mean Adi Shakti. And Adi Shakti's Pati is Lord Shiva. So those who are Vishnu Bhaktas, they can meditate on Vishnu Bhagavan or the forms, the avatars of Vishnu also, like Rama, Krishna, and all that. And those who are the devotees of Lord Shiva, they meditate upon Lord Shiva. Or you can even meditate on any form that is your Ishta Devata, like Hanumanji, Lord Ganesha, anything, because ultimately all represent the same truth. So here, meditation on the Saguna form of Lord is mentioned here. Okay. Then the third one is Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. Neyam means to take, to lead, to where? Sajjana Sange. And lead what? Chittam, your mind. Lead your mind to Sajjana Sange, to be in the association of good. The mind has to be led towards the company of the good people. Fourth one is Deyam Deenaja Deena Janayacha Vittam. Cha and Deyam. Deyam is to give, to distribute what? Vittam, the wealth. Okay. To who? Deena Janaya. To helpless people, to needy people. So wealth is to be distributed, shared with the needy or the helpless people. So Bhajagovindam, seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So here there are 4 sadhanas, spiritual practices are given. So what is to be chanted? Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranama. What is to be meditated upon? The form of the Lord, of either Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva. And then where the mind needs to be led to the good company, and also the wealth needs to be distributed among the needy people. So 4 sadhanas, Geyam, Dhyayam, Neyam, and Deyam. So chant, meditate, lead, and give. See, if you see this verse, we see all these sadhanas were already given before. Okay. And so one may ask why it is repeated again. So we can only say it is the compassion of the Acharya. Acharyas are like mothers. When a child leaves home, either for higher studies to a different state, or leaves the country for a higher job, the mother keeps on giving the instructions. Be careful. Come home by before 10 o'clock. Don't get into fight with anybody. If you have not eaten, okay, here is the pickle. Make some rice and eat some rice and pickle. And she keeps on giving instructions and instructions. Not just one time, again and again. And even when the child is about to embark on the plane, again she reminds the child. That only shows the mother's compassion. Same way here, acharyas also have tremendous amount of concern for the sadhakas, because very few people are interested in spirituality. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you all know that, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. So amongst thousands of people, very few strive for perfection. So here, the Guru takes extra care and repeats the sadhanas that was already were given in the previous verses here. Now, let us look a little bit detail about each of the sadhana here now. So the first one, it says, Geyam Gita Namasastram. As I said, Geyam means singing, chanting, or the doing the Parayanam of what? Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and Namasastram, that is the Vishnu Sahasranama. So how it is done? It is done by the faculty of speech. So speech is an organ of action. It is karmendriya. So here, when it says chant, it doesn't mean just singing or reciting, but it must also be studied. Why? Because it tells us the goal of our life and also gives the means, the path to follow. So both sadhya and sadhana, both are given. So Bhagavad Gita gives us a vision of life and also the way of life also. Bhagavad Gita gives us the viveka, discriminative understanding also. So what is where was it said before? And as I said, these are all repeated. It was said before, like Bhagavad Gita kinchidadita. By studying Bhagavad Gita even a little, there is no fear of death. That was said before. So when you do the Parayanam, what happens? It purifies the mind here. So the intention of chanting is to make the mind one-pointed. So when we are chanting, when we are doing the Parayanam, what is it that we should not do? We should not think about idli, dosa, sambar, and coffee. Okay? Even if you memorize the Bhagavad Gita, even if you know the Vishnu Sahasranama by heart, still you keep the book in front of you. Let your eyes look at the each and every word, and let your ears hear every word. So that way, every word can take you to contemplation. Tulsidas ji says, both Kama and Rama, they cannot stay together. Where Kama is, there is no Rama. Where Rama is, there is no Kama. And Gurudev calls this Vishnu Sahasranama as 1,000 arrows having one target. So each name is an indicator to that highest reality. Towards the first line we chant in Vishnu Sahasranama, Om Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Right? So see the word Vishwa. Okay. What is Vishwa? Bhagavan, you are this whole universe. Vishnu, oh Bhagavan, you are all pervading. Vashatkara, he who is invoked in yagnas and poured oblations too. So like this, each word you take, you chant, You revel and contemplate. Then you will be able to see the beauty and get immersed in that one. And actually, Adi Shankaracharya, as we all know, has written many, many bhashyas and all on 10 Upanishads and Brahma Sutras and Bhagavad Gita, everything. Okay, but his first bhashya was written on Vishnu Sahasranam. That was his first bhashya. See, many times we turn on the YouTube channel and we turn it on Vishnu Sahasranama or Bhagavad Gita that has been chanted by some Mahatma. That is good. And then we start cleaning and cooking and all that. That is okay. That is good, because that way we are keeping the mind from chattering. But if this is done as a sadhana, it should be chanted with concentration. Like the way I said, hold the book in front of you and make the mind not go anywhere there. See, we see all these stotras, everything, our whole scriptures is written in the language Sanskritam. Sanskritam is, is not like any other language. It is said when we chant these Sanskritam shlokas, it generates a kind of vibrations. And these vibrations actually heals the body. Shubhani Chaitanya, she shared one of the experiences that she heard from another person. So there was this man, he saw a doctor because he was having some problems with his heart. And the doctor said, you need some surgery. So this man was a Vitthala Bhakta. And so he said, well, my wish was to do the pilgrimage to Pandharpur. And there is this Varkari tradition there where people walk from their place to Pandharpur chanting Vitthala, 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 Vitthala. We have heard people chanting doing the bhajan on Vitthala. We say Vitthala, Vitthala. But you see, these Varkaris, when they chant the word Vitthala, you should hear. In our batch, in our Vedanta batch, there was one person, who was the leader of Varkari. And he used to bring his people once in a while to our ashram, and they would do this chanting. And when they chant this Vitthala word, you should listen to them. The how much emphasis they put it. Vitthala, 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 Vitthala. It is very amazing to listen to those things. Anyway, this person who was told that he needs a heart surgery, he went for this pilgrimage and he started this chanting, Vitthala, 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 Vitthala. And he was happy that he finished his pilgrimage and came back. And when he came back to the doctor, he went to the doctor's office to schedule his surgery. And the doctor examined him and he said, you don't need the surgery. Why? Just that vibrations of Vitthala, 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 okay, it had healed that heart also, healed that body. So Sanskritam is not like any other language, and all our stotras, everything is written in Sanskritam only. So the chanting produces positive vibrations. One Swamiji says we should have proper GPS in life. And if we want to travel safely and joyously. And what is the GPS in our life? It is Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranama. See, when you see all these stotras and all these things that we have you noticed they all have Palashruti? It tells in the end, if you chant 3 times, this will happen to you. If you chant, one of the famous thing that is Hanuman Chalisa, right? And so it's what it does. What does it say? Jo shatabar patakar joyi chutahi bandi mahasukha hoyi. So the one who chants this Hanuman Chalisa 100 times, his bondages are removed and he gains great happiness. So this Phalashruti are possible because these are all divine compositions. Have you ever heard a poetry that says, if you chant this poetry 3 times, you will get a dessert? No. Only the stotras, they have the Phalashrutis because they're all divine compositions. So in Vishnu Sahasranam also we see the Phalashruti, right? Putrarthi will get putra, Artharthi will get artha, and all that is also given. So this is Geyam Gita Nama Sahasra. Now let us go to the second sadhana that is given here. Dhyeyam Shripati Rupam Ajasra. Dhyeyam. Dhyeyam is, as I said, dhyanam, meditation. And meditation is done by the mind. Chittam, right? Chittam is a part of Antakarana, which is a Jnanendriya, organ of knowledge. Geyam was Karmendriya. And this meditation, Dhyeyam is Jnanendriya. So how do you meditate on the forum? All of us, have heard about how Gurudev used to spend his time in the puja room when he was a young boy. So it was a must in Putampalli house that everyone came to the puja room for the evening puja, and after the puja, dinner was served. And Gurudev, as Balakrishna Menon, he was not interested in the pujas and all this chanting, but he was told, if you don't come to the puja room, you don't get the dinner. So just for the sake of dinner, he would sit in the puja room. So to get rid of his boredom, what he would do was look at the picture of Lord Shiva. That was one of the pictures that was in the puja room. And then see all the details of that picture, of that Lord Shiva. How the snake is around the neck, how the hood is there, the tongue that is coming from the hood of the snake. All the details he would pay attention and then close his eyes and then try to bring that in his mind. And again open the eyes and then again see if he got all the details of that picture. So he was meditating on Lord Shiva without knowing what he was doing. So he actually says, Gurudev himself says that, when he went to the university, when he went to bed, that picture of Lord Shiva would automatically come to his mind. So it ended in meditation. So when here it says, do the meditation on Rupam, Shripati Rupam. So if you see, there are many, many dhyana shlokas that we have that describes the form of Lord. For example, you take for Lord Shiva, we say Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram, Samsara Saram, Bhujagendraharam, Sadavasantam Hrudayaravinde, Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. I'm not going to go into detail of describing this verse, but look at that first line. Karpura Gauram Karunavataram. So when you chant this first line, that form of Lord Shiva, which is pure white like Karpura, that has to come in front of you. That is Dhyeyam Shripati Rupamajasra. And where is that Lord? It says Sadavasantam Hrudayaravinde. he is always dwelling in the lotus of your heart. So thus bring that Lord of your heart and meditate. So that's what it is. Dhyayam Shripati Rupam Ajashram. So here Acharya says Ajashram. What is Ajashram? It means always, constantly, continuously. So this Ajashram can go with Geyam and also with Dhyayam. So this means the spiritual sadhanas are not a part-time job. They should be done continuously throughout our waking hours. Chanting or Parayanam of Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranam may be time-bound activity. But Guruji says, Bhagavan's name in your mouth, having that one, the tongue becomes sweet. So whenever there is a chance of communicating anything, then that Bhagavan Nama Madhuri, that sweetness should come out of your mouth. That is important. And this is actually the Vangmaya Tapas. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, what is Vangmaya Tapas in the 17th chapter, 15th verse? He says, Anudvegakaram Vakyam Satyam Priya Hitam Cha Yat Swadhyayabhyasanam Chaiva Vangmayam Tapa Uchyate. Anudvegakaram Vakyam. So, when we say something, to other people, it should not cause distress to them. And it should be satyam. It should be the truth. It should be priyam, pleasing. Hitam, it should be beneficial also. And swadhyayabhyam cha eva. And the regular recitation of all these Vedic scriptures, that is Vangmayam Tapa Uchyate. This is declared as the austerity of the speech. And this is the sadhana that is given here. And now add that Ajashram with Dhyayam, meditation. Means meditate always, continuously. Nobody can meditate during all of our waking hours. Even though Gurudev, when Gurudev was asked, how long should I meditate, Gurudev, he said 24/7. But what he meant was, think of the Lord, okay? Not like sitting in a position and meditating 24 hours. Okay. Here, Guruji very beautifully explains what is this Dhyayam Ajashram. He says, when you sit for meditation, whether it is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever the time that you allot for meditation, think of that Lord only continuously. Ajashram. Ramana Maharshi in Upadesha Sara, he says how it should be Ajya Dharaya, like a stream of ghee. So, Swami Sarvapriyanandaji says, of course, I cannot do my class without quoting something from Swami Sarvapriyanandaji. Okay, here I go. So he says, to do this, spiritual sadhanas, use desha, kala, and vastu, space, time, and object. Most of the time when we hear these three words, desha, kala, vastu, we say desha, kala, vastu, paricheda. Okay, to know Brahman, okay, we need to do this paricheda. But here, Swami Sarvapriyanandaji says, use that. How do you use these three things? He says, space, that is desha. In your prayer room, sitting on your mat, no thought of the world is allowed. So cut out the space. Then kala, time. For the next 1 hour, do conscious deliberation. I will not think of anything other than God. Cut off in time. Put a sign outside your mind. No entry. Only Lord is allowed inside. That is time kala. Then the vastu, the object. In the mind, keep only the form of the Lord. That is the object. And Narada Muni, in Narada Bhakti Sutra, very beautifully he says, Sarvada Sarva Bhavena Nishchitair Bhagavan Eva Bhajaniyaha. At all times, Sarvada, Sarva Bhavena, with all ways, different, with your emotions, with the, like, with least concern or anxiety. Okay. Then Nishchitairi Bhagavan Eva Bhajaniya. The Lord alone is to be worshipped. Upadeshasara also, Ramana Maharshi says the same thing. Jagata Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Brut Deva Pujanam. So how do I meditate? How do I worship? Continuously. So he says, worship with the mind united with the Lord of the universe. And who is that Lord? He is the God bearing 8 forms. And what is those Ashtamurti? It is the earth, the water, fire, air, space, sun, moon, and humankind. So you serve, when you serve all these things, you are serving, you are the Bhagavan only. So this way, you keep Bhagavan in you continuously. So see the Lord in this form. See the Lord in that form. That is continuous meditation. So the next one is Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. Neyam. Neyam means to lead, to guide. Guide what? Chittam, your mind. To where? Sajjana Sange. To the company of good people. So here, Chittam is Smaranatmika Vritti, faculty of memory here. Okay, so here when it says Chittam, it is, when we say it's a faculty of memory, what does it mean is, during the satsang, whatever you hear, you retain it. Try to retain it. Don't let it be just hearing, but let it be listening. There. Guruji says, Nayam is very interesting word here. So it means what? To be led, to be guided. That means what? It doesn't want to go on its own. So generally, the mind doesn't like to go there, to satsangas. Just like children, children don't want to go to school, right? And they need to be led. They need to be coaxed. They need to be taken to school. But when it comes to playing, they don't need any coax. So, because they don't see the importance of going to school. The same way the mind is. When it comes to good, noble things, it's not easy to make the mind to go there. It's always ready for the parties, but not for the satsang. But with some effort, you should take the mind to satsangs. Why? Because satsang leads to Jivan Mukti. We have seen that one, Satsangatve, right? And which is the goal of our life. So discipline the mind and take it to satsang. And it was said again in the 13th verse in this Bhajagovindam, Trijagati Sajjana Sangati Reka Bhavati Bhavarnava Tarane Nauka. So in the 3 worlds, it is the association with the good people alone that can save us as a tarana, as a boat to cross this bhava, this samsara. The satsang is very important in our spiritual path. Whether we follow bhakti marga, whether we follow the gnana marga, listening, shravana is very, very important. Without listening, you don't know who is God. You don't know what is bhakti. So you gather noble thoughts in satsang. And there is a chopai from Tulsidas ji, and he says, Ek ghadi, आधी में पुनि आधा, तुलसी चरचा राम की हरे कोटि अपराधा. That's the greatness of satsang. What does it mean? He says, if for 1 hour, ek gadi, or half an hour, आधी gadi, or even आधी में पुनि आधा, half in that half hour also, Characha Ram ki, if you think of Bhagwan Shri Ramchandra ji, Harai Koti Aparadha, it removes all the sins, Koti, that is numberless of sins that we have made, it removes that one. Actually, this same thing, they said, even Kabir Das ji has written, only the second line is different there. There he says, Kabir Sangata Sadhuki Katai Koti Aparad. So he says there, if you have communion with the Sadhu Sangha, then Koti Katai Aparad. So it removes the millions of the sins that we have made here. Guruji tells a humorous story. Okay. He says, in temples in India, many times there will be some harikatha going on. And people who come for darshan of Bhagavan, they go there for a few minutes and sit there. They don't listen to the whole harikatha and they go away. Same way, one man, he went for the darshan and some harikatha was going on. So he decided to sit there. He was not sure what harikatha was happening, on which Bhagavan's katha was happening. Nothing he was not sure, but he just sat there. And there, the harikathakar, he was saying, Aiye, please come. Bhaitiye, please sit down. Ja rahe hain. You're going away. Kathakar was telling some story and these 3 words came there. This man, he just heard these words. He did not know what the head or tail of that one. And he just sat there and he just went home. And when he went home, in the night after he finished his dinner and all that, he was still thinking about it, those 3 words. So he just said, Aiye. Right at that time, a thief was entering the house. So the thief heard Aiye. So he thought, oh my God, this man knows that I'm entering. So he got nervous and sat down to hide. And so this man said, Baitiye. So please sit down. So the thief really got scared. So he got up to run away. So this man says, Ja rahe hain. It's so nice, when the way Guruji says this story. So now this thief ran for his life. 3 words he heard in satsang, even that has mahima. That is the greatness of satsang. There's one more story I would like to share with you. This is also Guruji said that a man was returning from satsang and it was dark and another man had covered a white sheet and dressed like a ghost, and he wanted to scare this person. So he came near this person who had listened to the satsang and was going home. And this man, he actually punched the ghost. He was not scared. And he removed the white sheet. And then the thief was very surprised. See, he said, let me ask you a question. Aren't you scared of the ghost? He said, yes, I am scared of the ghost, but I know you are not the ghost. How? Because in the Kathakar said, the ghost don't cast the shadow. And there was your shadow. And I know you are not the ghost. So see the mahima of satsang. Even, in different ways, in worldly ways also, we get something from the satsang also. So do the satsang, the ghost that is there in the form of ignorance, that will run away. So, we had seen, as I said before, satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan mukti. So, satsang finally leads to jivan mukti. What if there are no satsangs that I can go to? Answer is very simple. In this modern world, with this technology, so many gadgets and everything that we have, you can always listen to some Mahatma on YouTube, on our scriptures. So there is no problem at all. We hear the Upanishads, Ramayana, Puranas, Mahabharata, so many things that are going on. So you can listen to those satsangs if you don't have the, if there are no satsangs going on, or if you don't know anything about where to go and all that. So this satsang, even entertaining good thoughts in the mind is also satsang. I had talked to you about that one when we saw the verse number 9, satsangatve. Satsang can be with the good books, biographies of the great saints and Mahatmas, and you can read their life stories and imbibe their virtues, how they live. So that's why it is said, satsangaha sarvada karyaha. We should always have satsang outside and inside also. Satsanga makes us get detached and gets attached to the virtues, the nobility, the good things there. So here what is said, using my faculty of speech, I recite Bhagavad Gita and the name of the Lord. Then in my mind, I meditate upon the form of the Lord. And with my intellect, I seek satsanga and enjoy the company of the wise people. Then what should I do with my hands? That is the fourth sadhana, deyam dina janayacha vittam. With your hands, you give charity. That we will see in the next class, because in just 2 minutes, I cannot finish the whole sadhana there. Okay? Thank you very much. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.